Welcome back to Investment Tribe, where you've subscribed because you want to learn all about cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and other digital assets. Don't forget to leave us a thumbs up and enable the notifications so you'll be alerted whenever we post a new video. In this video, we will look back at Decentraland. We're gonna update you on the project's most important developments within the last few months. We know we just talked about the Mana token's price prediction in a previous video. That's why we will not include it here. We will just be focusing on Decentraland and discuss why it still has great potential. Important disclaimer, do not consider this as an official financial advice. We're not professionals, just enthusiasts, so invest at your own will. For the unfamiliar, here is the basic info about Decentraland. It was founded in 2015 by Ari Malik and Esteban Ordano. It raised over $25 million in its initial coin offering or ICO back in 2017 and went live in 2020. It was self-proclaimed as the first ever virtual world owned by its users. The Metaverse consists of 90,000 parcels of land, which can be bought as a unique NFT on the Ethereum blockchain. There are different types of land in this virtual world: individual parcels, estates that consist of multiple parcels, districts for multiple parcels with similar themes, and plazas, which are untradeable parcels and are owned by the community. These parcels can be bought and sold on the official Decentraland marketplace. Other items are sold here like wearables and names for in-game avatars, as these are all NFTs. You can also modify your parcels of land by using the Decentraland builder. But this builder is an all-around application, as you can also create your avatar, names, and wearables on it. The in-game currency of Decentraland is called Mana. It is an ERC20 token. It can be used to purchase virtual art NFTs, tickets for events happening in this metaverse, and can be used for gambling as well. The token is also a governance token, since token holders have the power to vote on certain changes in the virtual world, like land parameters and marketplace fees. But not just in-game, because they can even affect certain decisions outside, like the approval of Catalyst nodes that host Decentraland's metaverse. One of the major updates in Decentraland is their integration with Polygon and with the help of Wallet Connect. It is now possible to use Mana with near zero gas fees. This came no surprise to the community, since they've been planning this integration ever since the launch. And also, Esteban Ordano, Decentraland's co-founder, was an early advisor to Polygon. Another major news is that the Decentraland Foundation announced the release of its new and improved DAO, or Decentralized Autonomous Organization. We will expand upon this news later in the video. Some other news is that Ari Malik, the other co-founder, has a new crypto project. A multiplayer action cooperative role-playing game that will let you have an adventure across time and space. The game is called Big Time. One of the biggest auctioneers in the world right now, Sotheby's, also opened a virtual NFT gallery and auction house in Decentraland. The Decentraland Foundation also introduced community grants that will help in building up and expanding Decentraland, as well as the protocol called Archipelago that splits the virtual world into several areas rather than several servers. Because servers can only hold a maximum of 100 users, when you enter the virtual world, it feels so empty because the 100 users are spread out. But with the Archipelago protocol, certain areas will be assigned a separate server, so that each area can now hold 100 users, which makes it denser. And the users can easily switch from server to server when moving into these different areas. The game also introduced its first 5 in-game games and a play-to-earn incubator that can compete with Axie Infinity. And for the last major news, they also held its first Metaverse festival that featured deadmau5, Paris Hilton, and many more. So that's a lot of news happening around the Decentraland. Now let's go back to that DAO. Ever since its launch in February 2020, it allowed users to vote on certain changes, and it came preloaded with 222 million Mana tokens, which were around 10% of the total initial supply. But they prevented the community from overspending by coming up with a 10-year vesting schedule, and only $100 million worth of Mana tokens has been unlocked as of today. But most of this money hasn't been spent yet. This is because Decentraland's governance was entirely on-chain. This basically means that for users to cast a vote, they need to pay Ethereum's incredibly large gas fees. So users were discouraged to vote, which resulted in low voter turnouts. And you don't want that, especially with decisions involving community projects involving millions of dollars. So they decided with the new and improved DAO to take most of the voting off-chain. This is possible with the use of a platform called Snapshot. It basically takes a snapshot of the tokens being held by the MetaMask wallets that are voting, so transaction fees are avoided. So now let's look at some of the proposals for Decentraland. The official roadmap has yet to be released, meaning most of these proposals are still pending review and approval. But one proposal that's already been enacted is to bring creators, brands, and celebrities to Decentraland. They can do NFT drops or advertisements. The first wave is expected to be early 2022, so it's very close. Another proposal that's expected to be enacted within the next few weeks is called Project G, which lets users earn experience points from completing tasks and interacting with certain objects. Other proposals to note are advanced avatar actions, improvement of livestream quality by switching streaming protocols, safety system for in-game chats, possibility to block users, and implementation of group chat. There are other three major proposals that are still in the early stages. The first one is the creation of a digital mall called the Gaming Mall, which will feature NFTs that can generate random reward when purchased. So there's like a gambling element to it. The developers are hoping to open the mall for users by this year once it gets approved. The second proposal is a lot crazier. They want to make Decentraland's Metaverse interoperable with at least 4 other crypto metaverse. There are no additional details about this, but this can be made by using the protocol IPSME. And the last proposal is to bring Decentraland to the Polkadot network. If this gets approved, we will be expecting to see the Metaverse in Polkadot within the next few months as well. But before you get your hopes up for the Mana token, let's now look at the risks that can bring the Decentraland project down. The first one is competition. Remember the game Big Time that I've talked about earlier? It's been known around the community that Ari Malik managed to bring other Decentraland developers for the game. I'm not saying that they're starting to abandon Decentraland, but the founders don't touch the Metaverse's operations for quite some time now. Even Esteban Ordano said in a recent talk that when they built Decentraland, Ethereum was the only cryptocurrency at the time that had smart contracts. So this science might mean that Decentraland was meant to be a practice run only. And now that there's a ton of cryptocurrencies much better built for metaverses, then it could mean that the founders are already moving on from the project. The second risk is regulation. Mana is currently listed on multiple US exchanges, and this implies that this regulatory risk is not present. Otherwise, they wouldn't take the risk of listing Mana, right? But the risk might be reduced after the community gave the Decentraland Foundation the authority to create a roadmap, because these regulators may not care since the end result is the same. And the Metaverse might also face a regulatory backlash over its in-game gambling. At the end of the day, I still would like to see where Decentraland is heading. We might say that the project is still in the infancy stage even though it's one of the oldest Metaverse projects out there. There may be some internal issues happening between the developers, but if they are committed to the community's proposals and if the Decentraland Foundation manages it well, then there's still hope for the project and the Mana token. And there's still light at the end of the tunnel here. Remember that the Decentraland DAO still has more tokens in the treasury, around more than $500 million as per the latest estimate. This means that they have one of the largest treasuries in the crypto world. If they manage to use all of these resources wisely, then we'll know for sure that Decentraland will become the successful metaverse that we hope it would be. So that's our video for today. Hope you liked it. I'm still positive about Decentraland's future. It still has a lot of gas in the tank and it hasn't reached its full potential yet. So its fate is left on the developers and the community. Well, that's all for now. This is Investment Tribe. See you again tomorrow. Keep in mind to like, share, and subscribe.